For 47 years, the Nexari Empire and the Voidborn Collective had torn the galaxy apart in the most brutal interstellar war ever recorded, consuming entire star systems and driving countless species to extinction. Then humanity showed up, took one look at the carnage, and ended it all in exactly 5 hours. The Altair Nebula burned with the light of 1,000 dying ships. Plasma torrents erupted across the cosmic battlefield like liquid lightning, while antimatter charges turned cruisers into expanding clouds of superheated gas. This wasn't just another skirmish, this was Tuesday. High Admiral Kythara stood on the command deck of her flagship, the Stellar Dominion, watching another wave of Voidborn fighters streak toward her defensive line. Her crystalline skin flickered with bioluminescent stress patterns as tactical data flooded her consciousness through neural implants. The Nexari had evolved beyond physical interfaces. Their ships responded to pure thought. Their weapons fired with the speed of synaptic impulses. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. Voidborn Dreadnought Entropy's Edge is charging their reality. Disruptor, reported her tactical coordinator, Lieutenant Zephy's. Impact in 47 seconds. Kythara's mandibles clicked in irritation. 47 years of this. 47 years of watching the galaxy burn while these shadow-spawned monsters refused to accept Nexari superiority. The Nexari had brought order to hundreds of worlds, uplifting primitive species and creating a golden age of prosperity. Until the Voidborn crawled out of dark space and decided that chaos was preferable to civilization. Across the battlefield, aboard the biomechanical nightmare that was the Entropy's Edge, War Prime Thazak monitored the battle through sensory tendrils grafted directly into his ship's nervous system. The Voidborn didn't build vessels, they grew them. Living ships with adaptive armor, self-healing hull plating, and weapons that fed on cosmic background radiation. The crystal shells are reinforcing Sector 7, Hista's symbiotic tactical organism. Their thought ships move in perfect synchronization. Predictable, weak. Thazak's form shifted, bone spurs extending from his exoskeleton as battle fury took hold. The Nexari called themselves civilized, but they were nothing more than crystalline tyrants imposing their rigid order on a universe that thrived in beautiful chaos. The Voidborn had been nomads among the stars for millennia. Before these upstart Empire builders decided the galaxy needed their version of perfection, the war had started over the Prism Worlds, a cluster of planets rich in quantum-active crystals that could power FTL drives or serve as the foundation for planet-spanning computer networks. The Nexari had claimed them by right of discovery. The Voidborn had taken them by right of strength. What should have been a minor territorial dispute had ignited into a galaxy-spanning catastrophe. Both species were evolutionarily perfect for war, but in completely opposite ways. The Nexari fought with precision and overwhelming technological superiority. Their crystal-based technology allowed for perfect coordination across vast distances, while their geometric ships could reconfigure in real time to counter any threat. They preferred defensive strategies, building impenetrable formations and letting enemies exhaust themselves against unbreakable walls. The Voidborn were living weapons, evolved in the harsh depths between stars, where only the most adaptable survived. Their organic technology could evolve mid-battle, developing new immunities and offensive capabilities in response to threats. They specialized in unpredictable assault tactics, swarming attacks that overwhelmed enemy sensors, and weapons that literally ate through conventional defenses. When an irresistible force meets an immovable object, the result is exactly what had been happening for nearly 5 decades, endless, brutal stalemate. Dr. Xylith, a Nexari xenobiologist who had spent her entire career studying the conflict, reviewed casualty reports from her research station orbiting the battlefield. The numbers were staggering: over 2 billion military personnel dead, 13 star systems rendered uninhabitable, countless civilian populations evacuated to refugee camps on the galactic rim. Another generation born in the camps, she noted. In her daily log, children who have never seen their ancestral worlds, raised on stories of a home that might not exist when this war finally ends. Meanwhile, in the shadowy depths of Voidborn space, broodmother Kythara tended to her spawning pools while listening to reports from the front lines. Her offspring would emerge already equipped for war, their genetic code rewritten by centuries of conflict. But what kind of future was she breeding them for? An eternity of violence against an enemy that could not be defeated? The galaxy itself was paying the ultimate price. Ancient trade routes had been abandoned, leaving isolated systems to fend for themselves. Entire species had fled to the universe's edge, abandoning their homeworlds rather than risk being caught in the crossfire. Scientific advancement had stagnated as both civilizations poured every resource into military research. Most tragically, both sides had long ago forgotten why they were fighting. The prism worlds that had started the conflict had been reduced to radioactive slag after changing hands 17 times. The economic value of those lost crystals was now dwarfed by the cost of a single day's fighting, yet neither side could stop. The Nexari couldn't abandon their vision of galactic order without admitting their entire civilization was built on a lie. The Voidborn couldn't submit to Nexari rule without betraying their fundamental nature as free wanderers of the cosmic. Dark Dot as another day of futile combat raged across the Altair Nebula, with ships exploding and brave souls dying for a cause that no longer made sense. None of the participants realized they were being watched. Hidden sensor arrays monitored every tactic, every weapon, every desperate strategy. Patient observers had been taking notes, learning, preparing. Soon, very soon, everything would change. But for now, the galaxy burned, and two great civilizations continued their dance of mutual destruction, locked in a war that had become its own reason for existing. High Admiral Kythara ordered another assault on the Voidborn left flank. War Prime Thazak commanded his bioships to break through the crystalline defensive grid. Energy weapons fired, reality disruptors charged, and the endless war continued. Nobody knew that in less than 24 hours, a small blue planet on the galactic rim would dispatch a fleet that would make 47 years of bloodshed seem like a minor disagreement between neighbors. Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Pathfinder, watching the most horrific display of military might she had ever witnessed. Through the main view screen, the Altair Nebula blazed with weapons fire that turned space itself into a kaleidoscope of destruction. Ships the size of Manhattan were being vaporized like insects in a flame. "Sweet Mother of God," whispered her tactical officer, Lieutenant Commander James Park, his fingers dancing across sensor arrays that struggled to process the sheer scale of carnage. "Captain, I'm reading energy signatures that are literally off our charts. Some of these weapons are outputting more power than our entire fleet combined." Dr. Sarah Chun, the mission's xenological specialist, leaned over her console with the intensity of someone witnessing history. "This is incredible. Two completely unknown species locked in what appears to be a total war. The technological diversity is unprecedented. One side uses crystalline matrix technology I've never seen before, while the other appears to be fighting with living ships." The Pathfinder was the lead vessel of humanity's first deep space exploration fleet, launched after breakthrough discoveries in quantum fold technology had finally made intergalactic travel possible. Earth scientists had detected massive energy signatures from the Altair region, but nothing had prepared them for this. "How long have they been at this?" asked Commander Park, watching another wave of explosions ripple across the battlefield. "Based on the debris fields and battle damage patterns," Dr. Chun replied, her voice tight with disbelief. "I'd estimate decades, maybe longer. The amount of destruction here It's like they've been systematically destroying each other for generations. Captain Vasquez had seen war before the resource conflicts on Mars, the corporate battles in the asteroid belt, but this was something entirely different. This wasn't a conflict over territory or resources. This looked like two civilizations, trying to erase each other from existence. "Captain," reported Chief Communications Officer Riley Torres from her station, "we're receiving multiple scanning beams. Both sides have detected us." The response was immediate and universal: hostility. The first transmission came from the crystalline ships, the voice translated by the ship's AI into crisp, formal English. "Unknown vessel. You have violated Nexari sovereign space during active military operations. Identify yourself immediately or be classified as a hostile combatant." Almost simultaneously, a different transmission arrived from the organic ships, this one carrying an undertone of barely controlled aggression. "Alien intruder, you drift in Voidborn hunting grounds. Flee now or join the crystal shells in death." "Captain." Vasquez exchanged glances with her senior staff. Neither alien force seemed interested in diplomatic niceties. "Open a channel on all frequencies," she ordered. "Let's introduce ourselves properly. This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Earth Federation vessel Pathfinder. We represent humanity, and we're here on a peaceful exploration mission. We had no idea this region was contested territory." The alien responses came swift and decisive. "Hi." Admiral Kythara's voice crackled through the communication system, her tone carrying the weight of someone who had been fighting this war longer than the human captain had been alive. "Earth Federation? We have no record of this species in our galactic databases. Your vessel's design is primitive, likely indicating a recently spacefaring civilization. For your own safety, retreat to whatever backwater world you emerged from. This conflict is beyond your comprehension." War Prime Fezak's reply was even less diplomatic. "Humans? Another crystal shell puppet species, no doubt. Your ship reeks of order and artificial construction. Begone, before we add your bones to our hull decorations." Dr. Chun worked frantically at her console, analyzing the alien transmissions. "Captain, both species are technologically advanced beyond anything in our databases. The Nexari appear to have mastered crystal-based computing and energy manipulation on a planetary scale. The Voidborn have developed biotechnology that seems to blur the line between organism and machine. And they've been using all that advancement to kill each other," Commander Park observed grimly. Captain Vasquez studied the tactical display, showing hundreds of ships locked in combat. Every instinct told her to follow the aliens' advice and retreat to safe distance. Earth's exploration protocols were clear. Avoid interference in alien conflicts. Gather data from a safe distance. Report back to command. But something about this situation felt different. The sheer waste of it, all too incredibly advanced civilizations, destroying themselves and everything around them in what appeared to be an endless stalemate. "Captain," Dr. Chen said quietly, "I've been analyzing their combat patterns and battle formations. Neither side is winning. They're perfectly matched in the worst possible way. The Nexari have superior defensive capabilities, while the Voidborn excel in adaptive offense. It's like watching an unstoppable force meet an immovable object." "How long could this go on?" Vasquez asked. "At this rate? Forever. They'll just keep grinding each other down until there's nothing left but debris fields and bitter memories." Lieutenant Commander Park looked up from his tactical station. "Captain, both fleets are repositioning. I think they're about to treat U.S. as a third hostile faction." For the first time since arriving, Captain Vasquez smiled. It wasn't a pleasant expression. "Commander Torres, get me a priority channel to Admiral Harrison at Fleet Command. Tell him we've found something that requires immediate attention from the diplomatic corps." "Ma'am, Earth is 7 months away, even at maximum quantum fold speed," Torres replied. Not the diplomatic corps on Earth, Vasquez said, her voice carrying a note that made her senior staff exchange nervous glances. The one that's been following us at stealth range for the past 6 months. The bridge fell silent, except for the hum of equipment and the distant thunder of alien weapons fire. Dr. Chin was the first to speak. Captain, are you saying we're not alone out here? Dr. Chun, humanity didn't send a single exploration vessel into the unknown reaches of space without backup. What you're looking at through that view screen is exactly the kind of situation Earth's military planners have been preparing for, Commander. Park's tactical display suddenly lit up with new contacts, dozens of them, emerging from stealth positions throughout the system. Ladies and gentlemen, Captain Vasquez announced to her crew, meet the rest of humanity's first contact fleet. And I think it's time these two civilizations learned what happens when you ignore a diplomatic solution for too long. The war that had raged for 47 years was about to encounter a force that neither the Nexari Empire nor the Voidborn Collective had ever imagined. Admiral Marcus Harrison materialized on the bridge of the Pathfinder via quantum transport, his weathered face grim as he surveyed the ongoing battle through the main view screen. Behind him, the space around the Altair Nebula began to shimmer as dozens of human vessels decloaked, their sleek hulls bearing no resemblance to anything either alien civilization had ever encountered. Captain Vasquez, Harrison said, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had spent decades preparing for exactly this moment. Status report. Both alien fleets have been fighting for 47 years, Elena replied, gesturing toward the tactical display. Perfect stalemate. Neither side can win, neither side can withdraw. They're locked in a cycle of mutual destruction that's consuming the entire region. Preparing and narrating this story took us a lot of time, so if you are enjoying it, subscribe to our channel. It means a lot to us. Now back to the story. Dr. Chun looked up from her xenological analysis. Admiral, the technological capabilities I'm seeing here are extraordinary. The Nexari have mastered crystal matrix physics in ways our best scientists couldn't imagine, while the Voidborn have created what appears to be truly living technology. Either civilization alone would be a formidable challenge for humanity. Admiral. Harrison nodded slowly. Doctor, what would you say if I told you that both of those civilizations are fighting with the technological equivalent of stone tools? The bridge fell silent except for the distant rumble of alien weapons fire. Sir? Commander Park ventured. Observe, Harrison said simply, activating his command interface. What happened next defied every law of physics that both alien civilizations thought they understood. A wave of something, not energy, not matter, but something fundamentally different expanded outward from the human fleet at faster-than-light speed. When it reached the first line of Nexari vessels, their crystal matrix weapons simply stopped working. Not destroyed, not damaged, but functioning according to entirely different physical laws. High Admiral Kythara watched in disbelief as her thought-responsive plasma cannons fired streams of harmless light instead of superheated. Death, what is happening? She demanded. All weapons have been rendered inert. This is impossible. Our crystal matrices are drawing power, but the energy is being converted to nothing threatening. The wave continued expanding, reaching the Voidborn bioships with equally impossible results. War Prime Thazak felt his living vessel's confusion through their neural link as their acid sprayers began ejecting harmless bioluminescent displays. And their reality disruptors became reality enhancers, creating beautiful light shows instead of spatial tears. The humans, Thazak hissed, his battle fury replaced by something he hadn't felt in centuries, genuine fear. What manner of sorcery is this? Captain Vasquez stared at her readouts in amazement. Admiral, every weapon system in the entire battle zone has been neutralized, but not destroyed. They're still functional, just harmless. Quantum causal manipulation, Dr. Chen whispered, her scientific mind struggling to process what she was witnessing. They're rewriting the fundamental constants that govern how energy and matter interact. It's not just advanced technology, it's like they're editing the universe's source code in real time. Admiral Harrison opened a channel to both alien fleets simultaneously. High Admiral Kythara of the Nexari Empire, War Prime Fazek of the Voidborn Collective. This is Admiral Marcus Harrison of the Earth Federation Deep Space Fleet. What you just experienced was a demonstration of humanity's null zone technology. Within this field, aggressive applications of energy become impossible. Weapons cannot harm, ships cannot ram. Violence itself becomes physically inoperative. The response from both alien commanders came in overlapping transmissions of shocked disbelief. Impossible. Kythara's voice crackled with static that seemed more emotional than technological. No species can manipulate the fundamental forces of reality. Our crystal matrices are quantum-locked to universal constants that cannot be altered. Fazak's reply was more visceral. Human spawn, what dark power do you wield? The void itself rejects such unnatural manipulation of existence. Dr. Chun was furiously analyzing the expanding field. Captain, this isn't just neutralizing weapons. It's creating a localized pocket of spacetime where aggressive actions become energetically unfavorable. It's like they've temporarily rewritten the laws of physics to make violence impossible. How? Commander Park asked, staring at his tactical display, where hundreds of ships drifted helplessly, their crews undoubtedly as confused as he was. Admiral Harrison's expression remained neutral. Humanity has had the luxury of developing our technology in peace, without the pressure of constant warfare. While these two civilizations spent centuries perfecting ways to destroy each other, we spent our time understanding the fundamental nature of reality itself. He gestured toward the neutralized fleets. The Nexari excel at manipulating energy through crystal matrices. The Voidborn have mastered biomechanical fusion. Both are impressive achievements. But neither civilization ever had the time or inclination to ask deeper questions. What if the universe's physical laws aren't fixed constants? What if consciousness itself plays a role in determining how reality behaves? Captain Vasquez felt a chill as the implication sank in. You're saying we can rewrite physics? In limited ways within specific fields, and only temporarily, Harrison clarified. But yes, Captain. Humanity has learned to negotiate with reality itself. The communication channels erupted with frantic chatter as both alien fleets tried to understand what had happened to them. Ships that had been locked in mortal combat moments before now drifted peacefully, their crews unharmed but completely unable to continue fighting. Admiral, Dr. Chun said, her voice filled with awe and terror in equal measure. If we can do this, if we can make violence impossible, why aren't we using this technology on Earth? Why do we still have conflicts? Harrison's expression grew somber. Because power like this, Doctor, must be used with extreme caution. We're not here to impose our will on the galaxy. We're here to offer something better than endless war. High Admiral Kythara's voice cut through the static her formal composure cracking. Human Admiral, if you possess such capabilities, why reveal them to us? You could simply conquer both our civilizations without resistance. War Prime Fezos transmission followed immediately. Yes, strange tech wielders. Why show mercy to those who showed you none? What do you gain from demonstrating power without using it? Admiral Harrison smiled for the first time since arriving. High Admiral War Prime, that's exactly the right question. And the answer is simple, because conquest is pointless. Dead civilizations can't contribute anything to the galaxy's growth. But living, thriving civilizations working together. That's how we explore the universe's true potential. He paused, letting his words sink in across both fleets. Gentlemen, you've been fighting for 47 years over resources and territory. that are insignificant compared to what's possible when civilizations cooperate instead of compete. We're offering you something neither of your species has seen in generations, a chance to stop fighting and start building. The silence that followed stretched across the star system. For the first time in nearly 5 decades, the Altair Nebula was peaceful, but the hardest part was still to come, convincing two civilizations that had known nothing but war to trust not only humanity, but each other. 3 hours after the null zone demonstration, representatives from all 3 civilizations gathered aboard the neutral human vessel Concordia, a massive diplomatic platform that had been constructed in the heart of the neutralized battlefield. The ship itself was a marvel. Crystalline sections that mimicked Nexari architecture flowed seamlessly into organic chambers that resembled Voidborn biotechnology, all unified by human engineering that seemed to make the impossible combinations work. High Admiral Kythara entered the central conference chamber with her honor guard of crystal warriors, their geometric armor refracting light in patterns that spoke of centuries of military tradition. Across the circular table, War Prime Thazek arrived with his symbiotic advisors, living creatures that had fused with his command structure to form a mobile war council. Between them sat Admiral Harrison, flanked by Dr. Chun and a team of human negotiators who had spent decades studying both civilizations. This chamber has been equipped with translation matrices for all 3 languages, Dr. Chun announced, as well as atmospheric controls calibrated for each species' comfort requirements. We want everyone to feel at ease during these discussions. Kythara's crystalline mandibles clicked skeptically. Comfort will not erase 47 years of Voidborn atrocities, human mediator. Your demonstration was impressive, but do not mistake our presence here for acceptance of your proposal. Thazak's form rippled with barely contained aggression, bone spurs extending and retracting beneath his adaptive hide. The crystal shell speaks of atrocities. Your kind has sterilized entire worlds with your perfect order, forcing proud species to conform to your geometric madness or face extinction. Gentlemen, Admiral Harrison interjected calmly, this is exactly why we're here. Both of your civilizations have legitimate grievances, but neither of you can resolve them through continued warfare. Dr. Chun activated a holographic display, showing detailed proposals humanity had developed. We've analyzed your conflict extensively and identified areas where cooperation would benefit both sides exponentially. The Nexari excel at large-scale organization and energy management. The Voidborn have mastered adaptation and biological innovation. Humanity specializes in synthesis and peaceful resolution of seemingly impossible problems. The proposals were comprehensive and carefully researched. Joint exploration missions where Nexari navigation combined with Voidborn adaptability could reach previously inaccessible regions of space. Shared technology development where crystal matrix computing merged with biomechanical systems could revolutionize galactic civilization. Cultural exchange programs that could end the isolation both species had endured. Consider the Seraph cluster, Dr. Chun continued, highlighting a distant galaxy on the display. Uninhabited, rich with resources perfect for colonization. Working together, you could establish thriving colonies there within a decade. Separately, it would take each of your civilizations centuries to develop the necessary technology. High Admiral Kythara studied the proposals with the analytical precision her species was known for. The mathematical projections were undeniable. Cooperation would yield benefits far exceeding any possible military victory. But mathematics couldn't account for something deeper. Human negotiator, she said formally, your calculations are flawless. Your proposals are logical. But you fail to understand the fundamental nature of this conflict. The Voidborn are not merely our enemies. They represent everything that opposes civilization itself. They are chaos incarnate, destroyers of order, corruptors of perfection. War Prime Thazak's response came as a low growl that caused the organic sections of the chamber to pulse sympathetically. And you fail to grasp that the crystal shells are not just conquerors, they are the death of diversity, the end of growth, the crystallization of life into sterile, unchanging patterns. To cooperate with them would be to betray our very essence. Admiral Harrison had expected this resistance. Earth's xenopsychologists had warned him that deeply entrenched cultural differences would be the biggest obstacle to peace. "Hi, Admiral War Prime," he said quietly. "Let me show you something else." The chamber's walls became transparent, revealing the devastation surrounding them. Thousands of wrecked ships drifted in the void, silent monuments to decades of pointless destruction. In the distance, a dead planet glowed with residual radiation from weapons that had scoured all life from its surface. "This is what your principles have accomplished," Harrison continued. "Perfect order and pure chaos have created perfect death. How many more generations will you sacrifice to maintain ideological purity?" Dr. Chun added supporting data. "Our projections show that at your current rate of mutual destruction, both civilizations will face extinction within 2 centuries. Not from external threats, but from the cumulative damage of this endless war. Kythara's bioluminescent stress patterns flickered more rapidly. Extinction with honor is preferable to survival through compromise with those who would corrupt our essence." Thazak's symbiotic advisors hissed agreement. "The Void Dweller speaks truth. Better to fade into cosmic darkness than to submit to crystal shell tyranny disguised as cooperation." Frustrated by the stubborn resistance, Admiral Harrison decided to demonstrate humanity's capabilities more directly. "Very well, let me show you what we could accomplish together." The Concordia's manufacturing bays came online, and within minutes, they had constructed a perfect hybrid vessel. One section, built using Nexari crystal matrix technology, another grown using Voidborn bioengineering, all integrated through human synthesis techniques. The resulting ship was more elegant, more powerful, and more efficient than anything either civilization had produced alone. "Impossible," Kythara whispered. "Crystal matrix and biomechanical systems are fundamentally incompatible. The geometric precision required for crystal technology cannot coexist with the organic chaos of Voidborn engineering." "Yet there it is," Dr. Chun pointed out. "Our vessel demonstrates that what you consider incompatible is simply different. Diversity of approach leads to stronger solutions." But even this demonstration failed to overcome the psychological barriers. Both alien leaders had been raised from birth to see the other species as the ultimate enemy. Their entire cultural identities were built around opposition to what the other represented. "You ask us to deny everything we are," Kythara said finally. "Nexari civilization is built on the principle that order and perfection are the highest goals. To accept Voidborn chaos as equally valid would invalidate our entire existence." Thazak nodded, a rare moment of agreement with his ancient enemy. "The crystal shell speaks truly for once. Voidborn culture celebrates growth through conflict, adaptation through struggle. To embrace their static perfection would be to cease being Voidborn." Admiral Harrison realized they had reached an impasse. Logic, benefits, even overwhelming demonstrations of possibility couldn't overcome 47 years of hatred, backed by centuries of cultural conditioning. "I see," he said quietly. "You'd rather destroy each other than admit you might both be." "Right." The silence that followed was broken only by the distant hum of the ship's systems and the faint gravitational resonance of the dead world spinning nearby. Dr. Chen leaned forward. "There is one more option we haven't discussed." Both alien leaders looked at her with mixtures of curiosity and suspicion. "What if the choice was taken out of your hands entirely?" Admiral Harrison's expression hardened almost imperceptibly. The diplomatic phase was clearly over. Sometimes, as Earth's military strategist had long known, Peace had to be imposed rather than negotiated. High Admiral War Prime, Harrison said formally, you have 1 hour to reconsider your positions. After that, humanity will demonstrate why continued warfare in our presence is not merely inadvisable, it's impossible. For the first time since the negotiations began, both alien leaders looked genuinely concerned. 1 hour and 37 minutes after the failed negotiations, High Admiral Kythara and War Prime Fazek simultaneously reached the same conclusion. The humans were a threat that had to be eliminated. Despite their ancient hatred for each other, both leaders recognized that humanity's reality-manipulating technology posed an existential threat to their respective civilizations. All Nexari vessels implement Convergence Protocol 7. Kythara commanded through her crystal matrix communication network. Target all human ships for synchronized elimination. The aliens' technology is too dangerous to be allowed to exist. Across the battlefield, Fazek issued similar orders to his biofleet. Spawn children of the void. Forget the crystal shells for now. The human tech wielders must be consumed before they can spread their unnatural influence further. For the first time in 47 years, the Nexari Empire and Voidborn Collective coordinated their attacks, directing their combined firepower at a mutual enemy. 800 alien warships, the most powerful vessels to galactic civilizations, could deploy prepared to unleash destruction that could crack moons and boil oceans. Admiral Harrison watched the alien formations converge from the bridge of his flagship, the Prometheus. His expression remained calm despite facing impossible odds. Admiral, Captain Vasquez reported from her tactical station. Both fleets are charging their primary weapons. Energy readings are, frankly, terrifying, sir. If even a fraction of that firepower reaches us. Dr. Chun, Harrison said quietly, initiate Omega Protocol. Sir, are you certain? Dr. Chun's fingers hovered over her console. Once we activate this, there's no going back. Both civilizations will understand exactly how outclassed they are. They've made their choice, Doctor. Now we make ours. What happened next redefined both alien species' understanding of what was possible in the universe. As the combined alien armada unleashed their devastating barrage crystal matrix planet crackers and biomechanical reality disruptors firing. In perfect synchronization, the attack simply stopped, not blocked, not deflected, but temporally suspended. Millions of energy bolts hung motionless in space like a frozen storm of light. Temporal stasis field, Dr. Chun announced matter-of-factly. We've isolated their weapons fire in independent time streams, running at approximately 1/10,000,000th normal speed. From their perspective, their attacks are proceeding normally. From ours, they'll take about 3,000 years to reach us. War Prime Fazek felt his bioships, confusion through their neural links as their most powerful weapons appeared to have been trapped in amber. Impossible, he hissed. No force in the universe can manipulate time itself. High Admiral Kythara's crystalline form flickered with stress patterns as her tactical displays showed something that couldn't exist. Their attack had become a light sculpture hanging motionless in space. What manner of beings are these humans? She whispered, but humanity was just getting started. Phase 2 began when human vessels materialized throughout both alien fleets not arriving from elsewhere, but spontaneously existing in positions they had never occupied. Each human ship appeared perfectly positioned to disable key alien vessels without causing casualties. Spatial translocation, Admiral Harrison explained calmly to the paralyzed alien commanders. We're not moving through space to reach you. We're convincing space that we were always there. Phase 3 demonstrated humanity's manufacturing capabilities on a scale that dwarfed even their previous displays. The human fleet, which had numbered 50 vessels, suddenly numbered 500, then 5,000. New ships materialized from raw quantum foam, their construction occurring faster than either alien species could comprehend. Matter compilation from vacuum fluctuations, Dr. Chun reported. We're borrowing mass energy from the universe's zero point field and promising to return it later. The interest rates are quite reasonable. Phase 4 showed the aliens what humanity could do to living beings. Every Nexari and Voidborn crew member found themselves suddenly, inexplicably fluent in all 3 languages. Not just the words, but the cultural contexts, the emotional subtleties, the philosophical frameworks behind each species' communication. Consciousness integration protocols, Admiral Harrison announced. We've temporarily merged your linguistic centers with our universal translation matrices. You now understand each other as clearly as you understand yourselves. For the first time in 47 years, Kythara and Thazak could truly comprehend what their enemies had been trying to communicate. The experience was devastating. Decades of hatred based on misunderstanding, conflicts rooted in translation. Errors, wars fought over philosophical differences that didn't actually exist. By the crystalline heart of eternity, Kythara whispered, her voice carrying perfect emotional resonance in void-born bioacoustic patterns. Thazak, your people aren't chaos worshippers seeking to destroy order. You're artists. You see growth and change as forms of beauty. Thazak's response carried the geometric precision of Nexari mathematical poetry. Kythara of the crystal matrices, your people aren't tyrants imposing sterile conformity. You're gardeners. You see perfection as the highest form of care for the universe. But Phase 5 was what ended the war. Humanity revealed that they had been observing the conflict not for months, but for decades. Every battle, every strategy, every technological development had been monitored, analyzed, and understood. The humans had constructed perfect simulations of both civilizations and run them through millions of scenario tests. We know your people better than you know yourselves, Admiral Harrison said, his words reaching every ship in both fleets simultaneously. We've identified 2,847 areas where Nexari and Voidborn technologies complement each other perfectly. We've designed hybrid systems that exceed the capabilities of either civilization alone. We've even planned the colonies where your children could grow up together, learning from both cultures. The simulations played across every viewscreen in both fleets. Nexari children learning adaptation techniques from Voidborn mentors. Voidborn youth discovering the beauty of crystalline mathematics. Hybrid technologies that made both species. Current achievements look primitive. Colonies where geometric crystal gardens grew alongside organic biosculptures, creating art forms neither species could imagine alone. More importantly, Dr. Chun added, we've run projections showing what happens if you continue fighting. Mutual extinction within 137 years. But working together, both civilizations could survive and thrive for millennia. The final demonstration was simple but absolute. Humanity simultaneously disabled every weapon system in both fleets, while leaving all other technology perfectly functional. Life support, communication, navigation, everything needed for survival and cooperation remained online. Only the tools of war became inert. The choice is simple, Admiral Harrison announced. Cooperation, or watch your civilization slowly die from the wound you've been inflicting on each other. We've removed your ability to continue the war. We cannot remove your ability to choose peace. The silence that followed stretched across the star system. 800 alien warships drifted powerless, their crews finally understanding both the futility of their ancient conflict and the magnitude of what they could accomplish together. High Admiral Kythara was the first to break the silence. Human Admiral Harrison, in the crystal tongue of my ancestors, I formally request negotiation protocols for alliance with both humanity and the Voidborn Collective. War Prime Thazak's bioacoustic response carried harmonics of wonder. Elder Spawner Harrison of the Reality Weavers, The Void Children seek symbiosis with both the Crystal Shapers and your star-walking kind. Admiral Harrison smiled. Excellent. Let's begin building something that will amaze the universe. The war that had consumed 2 civilizations for 47 years had ended in exactly 5 hours and 12 minutes. The age of galactic cooperation was about to begin. 18 months after the 5-hour war, Admiral Elena Vasquez stood on the observation deck of New Harmony Station, watching something that would have been unimaginable just 2 years earlier. Through the transparent aluminum viewports, she could see ships from all 3 civilizations working together in perfect coordination, constructing what would become the galaxy's first tri-species colony ship. The vessel itself was a masterpiece of collaborative engineering. Nexari crystal matrix frameworks provided the structural foundation, their geometric perfection ensuring optimal energy distribution and structural integrity. Voidborn biomechanical systems formed the ship's nervous system, creating adaptive life support that could adjust to any environment. Human quantum synthesis technology bound it all together, making the impossible combination not just functional but elegant. Captain Vasquez, came a voice behind her. She turned to see High Admiral Kythara approaching, her crystalline form now decorated with bioluminescent patterns that she'd learned from Voidborn artisans. The former military commander had become the Alliance's director of exploration, her strategic mind now focused on discovery rather than destruction. "High Admiral," Elena replied, still amazed by how naturally the formal address now carried warmth instead of hostility. "How are the Seraph cluster preparations proceeding?" "Beyond all projections," Kythara responded, her translated words carrying undertones of genuine excitement. "War Prime Fazak's bioengineers have developed atmospheric processors that can terraform 3 planets simultaneously. Combined with our crystal matrix weather control systems and human terraforming accelerators, we estimate the first colony worlds will be habitable in just 14 months. Through the station's communication system, Fazak's bioacoustic voice joined the conversation from his position aboard the colony ship. "Crystal Sister Kythara speaks truth. The Void Children and Star Shapers work as one mind across 3 forms. What our ancestors thought impossible becomes routine with each new sunrise." Dr. Sarah Chun materialized via quantum transport, her arms full of data tablets and her face glowing with scientific enthusiasm. "Admiral, High Admiral, War Prime, you need to see the latest collaborative research results. The breakthroughs we're achieving are rewriting our understanding of the universe itself." The data was staggering. In just 18 months, the Tri-Species Alliance had accomplished more than any single civilization had managed in centuries. Medical advances developed by combining Nexari precision, Voidborn adaptation, and human synthesis had eliminated diseases that had plagued all 3 species for millennia. Energy research had produced power sources so efficient that they could fuel interstellar travel at speeds that made the galaxy feel as small as a single star system. Agricultural innovations meant that hunger was becoming extinct across all Alliance worlds. But the most remarkable achievement, Dr. Chun continued, isn't technological, it's cultural. She activated a holographic display showing population statistics from across Alliance space. "We're seeing unprecedented cooperation at every level. Nexari engineers working in Voidborn biolabs, human diplomats learning crystal matrix mathematics, Voidborn artists creating hybrid sculptures that incorporate geometric perfection with organic flow." The transformation went far beyond the original 3 species. Word of the Alliance's success had spread throughout the galaxy, and dozens of other civilizations had requested membership. The Altair Nebula, once a graveyard of endless conflict, had become the galaxy's most prosperous region. "The economic data is equally impressive," added Commander Park, who had been promoted to Director of Interspecies Commerce. "Trade volumes have increased by 4,000% since the Alliance formation. Scientific discoveries are being shared freely between member species. We've established cultural exchange programs that are creating entirely new art forms and philosophical movements. Admiral Harrison's voice joined them through the communication network from Earth. More importantly, we're seeing the emergence of the first truly galactic generation. Children born into the Alliance who grow up speaking all three languages, learning from all three scientific traditions, and seeing cooperation as the natural state of civilization. Elena thought about those children, human kids playing with young Nexari crystal shapers and Voidborn biosculptors, learning to see difference as strength rather than threat. They would inherit a galaxy where the idea of species-based warfare would seem as antiquated as tribal conflicts seem to modern Earth. Speaking of the next generation, Kythara announced, I have news from the Seraph Cluster Advance Team. The first tri-species settlement has been established successfully. Children from all three civilizations are already playing together in the colony's biocrystal gardens. Phasak's harmonics carry deep satisfaction. The spawning pools sing with joy. New forms of life emerge when crystal growth and bioadaptation merge with human synthesis. The colony's birth wonders none of our ancestors could imagine. The success had ripple effects throughout the galaxy. Former conflict zones were being converted into research stations and cultural centers. Military shipyards had been retooled to build exploration vessels and colony ships. Weapons technology was being repurposed for terraforming and space construction. The most profound change, Dr. Chen reflected, is philosophical. For centuries, each species believed their way was the only correct path. The Nexari thought perfection required order. The Voidborn believed growth demanded chaos. Humans assumed synthesis was always possible. Now we understand that all three perspectives are necessary for true advancement. Elena nodded, watching, as a group of mixed-species engineers worked on the colony ship's final systems. What we've learned is that the universe is vast enough for all approaches to coexist and strengthen each other. Admiral Harrison's voice carried a note of pride. Project status reports from across Alliance space show similar success stories. Former battlegrounds have become thriving research centers. Ex-military personnel from all three species are working together as exploration teams, colonization specialists, and cultural ambassadors. And the best part, Kythara added, is that we're just beginning. Our combined knowledge and capabilities have opened possibilities none of us previously imagined. We're preparing to launch expeditions beyond our galaxy, to seek out new civilizations, and invite them to join our alliance of cooperation. As the massive colony ship completed its final systems checks, Elena felt a profound sense of satisfaction. The galaxy that had once been divided by an endless, pointless war was now united in purpose and exploration. The children aboard that ship, she said quietly, will grow up in colonies where Nexari mathematics helps Voidborn organisms thrive, where human technology makes impossible things routine, and where cooperation isn't just possible, it's the foundation of everything they build. 18 months ago, two civilizations had been destroying each other over meaningless territory. Today, three civilizations were building a future that exceeded any single species' wildest dreams. The 5-hour war had lasted exactly 5 hours and 12 minutes. The peace it created would last forever. Up next, you've got two more standout stories right on your screen. If this one hit the mark, you won't want to pass these up. Just click and check them out. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any upload from us.